Yes, so una do, una well done. Una well done, una do, una good evening this evening. Una welcome to my platform on TikTok at Emir Presenter and on Facebook, Emir Kings Abdul. Now, wetin you fit do? Make you follow me, make you know as e dey go for our Obodo Naija. As we dey do am always, we don carry ogbonge person come my platform again. Make you could discuss state of the nation as e dey go for our Obodo Naija. The ogbonge person wey dey with me today here in person of Malam Aminu Umar Gada, wey be say him na public analyst. He go analyze as e dey go for us on top the sector. Today, we don come again. Let the program continue on top Serere Werere and Were Sere levels. Malam Aminu, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Abdullah, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for answering our invitation on top as e dey go. I believe say the news wey dey make round, wey dey make wave on top social media, wey be say dey snub our number one ogbonge military personnel for Nigeria visa entry into Canada. Wey be say that one na slap on top Naija, and na that one make our own able NSA enter the media, blow hot on top Canada, tell them say to hell to Canada. And again, the second one we will discuss on the platform today, now that of allegation from USA Congressman Scott Perry, we talk say USAID, now then they fund terrorists, especially Boko Haram, where we say they don't become something on top our flesh for Nigeria or this why. For somebody, a congressman from USA to come out and say they are the one funding it. If we go into the program on top Serere Werere and Were Sere levels, make we start with that of snubbing of visa. Where we say they deny our own able CDS visa into Canada. What do you guys talk about?
Okay, thank you, Abdullah, once again for having me. The issue of that visa denial is a high-level diplomatic issue. It was very unfortunate that the media in Nigeria, I'm sorry they are your colleagues, have also mismanaged the situation. It is anything that has to do with diplomatic circumstances supposed to be not public. And like always, I don't follow public opinion. I analyze what is going on and then make an informed judgment. Canada, we should respect the fact that they are a sovereign country. They have their own laws. They have their own protocols. So if you are requesting their visa, you should respect their protocols.
Okay.
Where there are issues concerning a higher public office holder like CDS, who is the commander-in-chief, apart from the president, that control our army institution, I think it's supposed to be a top secret of the government. The president should be aware. And rather than the national security advisor, let the Minister of Foreign Affairs lead the talk. Diplomatic issues require diplomatic language, not military approach, not radical approach, not propaganda. There has to be a reason why Canada, as a sovereign state, denied the CDS.
Exactly the point. There must be a reason. And for the kind of caliber where CDS belongs to, the kind of weight where Nigeria get in the whole world, how will Canada, you heard it from the High Commission of Canada and Nigeria, just come out and said they are aware that it happens, but a kind of hiding something. They don't want to tell us why.
You see, he is not alone according to the news. The visa has been requested to about 60 people at a go. And the CDS is going to lead the delegation. Are they going there to do a coup in Canada or what?
Not at all.
I'm telling you, it is a very sensitive issue. Canada may look at it from various points of view. And there are, like I told you, I'm suspecting there is breach of procedure. We should not make assumptions, or we should not make expectations that by virtue of my position as CDS, anything I requested I must get. Like I said from the background, Canada is a sovereign country. They have their own laws and they have their own procedures. Nigerians should respect that. So when there are issues like that, the CDS needs to inform the president. At the instance of the president, through the Foreign Affairs Ministry, a letter can solve that problem. It's not an emotional thing. It's a top government secret dealing that should not come to the air or in such a brazen and ordinary manner.
Let's look at it from this angle, Malamino. Now, you said it earlier, that team of up to 60 people, and half of this team were granted this visa. Half of the team were not granted, which our CDS is among those that were denied this visa.
Yes.
Don't you think maybe there's personal issue attached to this? Maybe from the CDS.
I'm suspecting breach of protocol.
Sorry, let's remember that of recent, the CDS made a kind of announcement that some of the Boko Haram that were captured, some of them, they found out some dollars and code that suspecting that maybe international powers are behind it. Don't you think maybe the Canada are thinking that maybe the CDS is alleging that we are the one behind it, the Boko Haram?
So the next course of action for the government is to explore a window of what is your reason through the Foreign Affairs Ministry. But for NSA, a higher level, like I said, public official of that caliber should not have come and make that blunt statement before the public. Diplomatic issues, like I told you, they are somehow like undercover operations. You have to do them with top secrecy because of image. You see now everybody is saying, why is Canada undermining the CDS, the Chief of Defense Staff? It is in Nigeria. It is in Nigeria that he is CDS, not in Canada. Like I told you, there has to be a diplomatic reason. One, it can be security reason. Two, it can be breach of protocol. And three, it can be a directive from the sovereign country to the embassy head.
So do you think for them to have come out and said there's something attached to it and they don't want to tell us?
Yes,
is that right?
That is how diplomatic issues are being handled.
But
they are not meant for public consumption. They are meant for inter-country communication. The foreign affairs, rather than the NSA, the foreign affairs minister should have come in and address the issue. At the end of it, may decide, not even necessarily to make a statement. The media too are always in a hurry to report incidents, but there are things that demands thorough investigation before coming to the public, like that issue, because you can see Nigerians are becoming too emotional about a country because it have denied the CDS. That is what an average Nigerian is looking at, the whole mighty CDS. But we are forgetting the fact that Canada is a sovereign country. They have their own laws and they have their own protocol. Maybe there is a breach. And in other parts of the world, no matter your status, no matter the level of your position, you have to follow the order.
Okay, now let's look at it from this angle now that, okay, now that this disrespect is coming from any angle now to Nigeria now, don't forget, NSA made a statement on that platform that we need to wake up. That is a kind of wake-up call to Nigeria. Even the CDS said the same thing. So does that mean that there are things, and at the same time, the NSA said 80% of what is happening that they are not telling us? So meaning there are a kind of, sorry to use this language, maybe shit that is going on that they are not telling Nigerians.
You see, both CDS and NSA have a lot of information before them. So I don't want to dwell more on that. But notwithstanding, Nigeria as a sovereign country too, like Canada, should demand explanation. The DGDSS should come in, make investigation. The NIA, National Intelligence Agency too, should come and make investigation and report to the president. While the Nigerian military should submit complaint to the Foreign Affairs Ministry so that there should be that diplomatic way. It's too early to make assumptions, like I said, or to make preempt something out of the whole scenario. Let us not make expectation. Let us not make assumption that this is the reason. So let us hear officially from the embassy.
So up to now, we have not
Nigerian should withhold his emotional feeling about the happening.
About what?
From officially, NSA should. Yes, it's good that he stand firm, especially on something that has to do with Nigerian military. but he should also be mindful that his job is not that of diplomacy.
Well, but there are kind of different thoughts from people saying that, formally, NSA said it that weapons that belongs to Nigeria are being sold out by our military and our policemen to these terrorists. The same NSA now coming out to back the CDS. What do you have to say about that?
You see, I was privileged to follow the news when BBC carried it, BBC Hausa, that Auditor General of the Federation has conducted an audit investigation on the arms belonging to various security organizations in the country, and reported that I think about 80,000 rifles are missing. The number is worrisome actually, and I think the National Assembly are using that report to constitute a standing, I think, ad hoc committee to make another investigation to prevent future reoccurrence. But the problem is, I think, has to do with the office or the law. On we don't have a strong agency or an institution that is checkmating that. I think the highest regulatory institution in our country for our armed forces is the Office of the National Security Advisor, which over the years have become an institution. But Nigeria needs to make a strong legislation empowering an independent organization that is charged with the responsibility of managing, monitoring, and investigating issues of missing arms. I think that is my take.
It's okay. Let's not dwell much on this one now. Based on what happened on this now, what do you think the implication of what happened to Nigeria now? What do you think the implication could
It
be?
is actually a global embarrassment. No one wants to see a public figure like CDS being denied a visa. It is worrisome. We must come back home internally and address some of our challenges. Protocol is protocol. Not even relationship between two countries. Internally too, we have to make amendment and adjust. No matter how highly placed you are, there is need for you to respect the law. In a setting, in every sovereign country, the law is at the top. Any other person is under the law, including the president. So once we put that one at the back of our minds, I think our problems will reduce.
Okay, now let's jump small, enter inside this allegation from Scott Perry, this congressman from America, that says USAID are funding terrorists like Boko Haram, Al Qaeda, and the rest.
Yes.
So, what is your take on this?
The Perry allegation is weighty. It's actually very big. It cannot go like that. It demands a thorough investigation, an independent investigation for that matter. But notwithstanding, we should also look at what USAID has been doing over the years. In Nigeria, like even you are aware, they have contributed in 3 thematic areas. They have been giving contribution in the health outcomes in our country. They are supporting economic growth, and they are also helping, I think, education. We can even add on social aspects. There are other, like maybe the displaced, internally displaced people, exactly, or disabled, or people with disability. Yes, or physically challenged people. You see, the allegation, as far as I'm concerned, until and unless that investigation has been carried out.
You see,
Ferry is just like a National Assembly member. We have had several allegations in our National Assembly that leads to even suspension of the lawmakers because of the veracity of the allegation, and at the end of the day, it turns out to nothing. I don't want to assume that his allegation is correct.
Okay, now let's connect the dots. You said earlier that USAID has been helpful
Yes.
to development of
Yes.
Nigeria
Yes.
thematic areas.
Yes.
Now, Scott Perry said it that hiding under this disguise of developing African countries, let me put it that way,
Yes.
that there are some schools or there are some funds that were released to build some schools, which the school were not there to be found. meaning that they are hiding under development and causing catastrophes on this. And now connecting the dots, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, that's a Nigerian's former Minister of Foreign Affairs, who was among a committee that was brought for Boko Haram certain time like this, that they should go and look what is it that is happening
to negotiate or to
on national TV. Professor Bolaji said it clearly that some villagers kept telling them that some white men came in helicopter. White men, they couldn't say whether America or not. So he said it that they made the mistake of taking those white men that these villagers were saying from French. But now that this congressman is saying that USAID are the one funding the Boko Haram and co, he is now connecting to the dots to see that it's from American distance. So what do you have to say?
You see, from the background you laid, not just USAID, any form of support, assistance, grant coming into your country has a negative effect, whether directly or indirectly. So there is this allegation. French speaking countries were fingered in the past. And if it is truly, like they said, they are suspecting the USAID, they can disguise to look like French. So the investigation is the only thing. And as a sovereign country, Nigeria should, as a matter of urgency, constitute a high-level presidential committee to begin or to commence investigation on this allegation, because it is actually weighty and it can be possible. That yes, the allegation is correct. Yes.
And let's remember again, during Barack Obama's reign in the USA, we had an opportunity to buy weapons, and Barack Obama denied Nigeria selling us weapons that time, and even saying that we violated international human rights on Boko Haram, not Nigerians.
Yes.
On the way we handle Boko Haram.
Yes.
And now, for this congressman to come out and say this, shouldn't we connect the dots and say that maybe something is coming from?
Not necessarily, actually. Obama may be right, because extrajudicial killing.
Killing of insurgencies, people killing innocent people.
That is not how the law works.
Okay.
Especially on the international law. The law, no matter the level of crime you committed, no matter the level of crime you committed, once you are apprehended, you have to be tried before a court of law. You can't just go to the bush and kill somebody because he is a Boko Haram, according to the law. The law presumes that he is an innocent until pronounced guilty by the court.
Until pronounced guilty
by the court.
Even if you find them with a gun killing innocent people?
Not at the point of engagement. You see, some of these killings that Nigerians were fingered, like the Boko Haram pioneer leader, Mohammed Yusuf, he was killed at the force headquarters of the Nigerian force. Everybody saw the video in 2003. I think, no, sorry, 2006, during President Eradua. So, you see, the law is the problem. Even the military, the CDS interview, you even caught him. There was an interview too, I saw that he is complaining about sometimes the war is, operational war is the best for them. This is our target, we clear and move. But like the case of insurgency, there are civilian shelters. Forget even the laws, there are even civilian shelters. People adopted were used by these criminals as a shield. You don't go and kill them all. When you do that, you have violated the human rights law. And under that, you understand, you can be denied certain privileges. So the law is the problem. At the international community, the law says that every suspect or every criminal or crime committed is presumed to be innocent until and unless pronounced guilty by the court.
Okay, on this case now.
Like me and you now, if we see a Boko Haram or bandit, we cannot kill him. The best thing to do is to report to security. They will come and arrest him, try him before the court.
A judge. We see him operating, or we see him coming towards.
Anyhow,
Even if somebody is coming to kill, I cannot defend myself.
Anyhow, the law, if you kill him, you can be charged for murder.
What of self-defense? What happened to self-defense?
It's allowed. Defending on the evidence. The law of evidence will be applicable there.
Okay, what do you have to say to this fact again that Professor Bolaji said again that during Jonathan, that some boys came to them and told them that there are certain times that certain Boko Haram, they had clear shot on them, waiting for order from their headquarters to engage, only to be told from headquarters that they should withdraw and not engage. So now that dot again, and considering this, do you think international power and local power are not colliding together? That's sponsoring this.
You see, in the war front or in any operation being conducted by security forces, the common sense is not applicable. We should avoid making assumptions. The order may be to avoid heavy casualty on the part of government. Maybe the enemies, there is intelligence that they have outnumbered the available troops by number and by weapons, unless and until investigation is carried out. It's a very sensitive issue.
So
the media,
in your own personal opinion,
yes.
Do you believe we have a mole in our military system or in Nigerian system?
There is massive, I don't want to use the word mole, there is massive failure of intelligence in our security system. Massive failure. These criminals, whether bandit, whether insurgents, whether whatever you call them, Lakurawa, whatever name you give a criminal is a criminal, and they are using local intelligence. So the government in a foreign country, what they do, like Boko Haram, like bandit, they will send their undercover operations to join them and be part of the crime.
And be part of the crime.
Yes, a DSS man supposed to be part of 2G lieutenants. Sleeping with 2G, going on operation with 2G, gathering information, and find a means of sending to the government. That is how to win a modern war.
Regarding these loopholes that we are having in our military system now, let's, for example,
how can we stay for these donkey years, for 20 years, that we don't know who is sponsoring Boko Haram?
Is it that we don't know who
it
is
has
sponsoring
remained
them? Sorry, is it that we don't know who is sponsoring them, or we don't want to mention? For example, this Professor Bolaji now, he said you don't want to mention names. If you want the fact, he said you should go back to the newspaper during Jonathan. You will see names of those going to Washington for meeting.
Honestly, this development have necessitated for the president to constitute a presidential committee of highly fleshed individuals coming with military, police, various security organization background to come into this matter and make a thorough investigation and report to the country.
Let me put it this way. If, for example, now you as a person, maybe you have a concrete evidence against somebody that so person in the corridor, at the corridor of power, is part of these atrocities, do you have any reason not to mention his name?
I think is if you have evidence, you report.
Because now let's look at Adams Oshiomhole from Edo. He said it earlier, Senator Adams Oshiomhole. He said it earlier. There's behind all these atrocities that there are some retired generals. He refused to mention name. Professor Bolaji at the same thing said there are some people. He also refused to mention name. We've been hearing a lot of things.
They are afraid of the law.
Why
like
are they not mentioning names?
Yes, they are afraid of the law. It can backfire. Like I said, unless and until the court pronounce you are guilty, whatever allegation is made against you, the law presume you to be an innocent until proven in the court of law and pronounced by a competent court of jurisdiction, by a competent judge.
With all this,
so the challenge, like I told you, is a intelligence failure in the whole of our security setting. Nigeria since 1960 has been a sovereign country. We have officers in the military. We have the DSS. We have the NIA. We have the civil defense. We have whatever class, including the ones protecting our borders. We have the custom. We have the immigrations. But the challenge is we are yet to become fully professionals in the way and manner we manage crisis. We're supposed to by now finish the issue of Boko Haram, finish the issue of bandits.
Okay, let's
intelligence is the main solution, because issue of procurement, some people that are saying we are using all olden or obsolete
ways of doing
things. Procurement take long period of time, especially military hardware. And there is this high level of diplomacy processes before you can actually procure military hardware. Like you said, during Obama, Nigeria was denied. It's a very serious issue. Nigeria should pay attention to intelligence gathering. When a criminal is in this bush, before he go under the forest and hide, there should be, we have DPOs everywhere. We have DOs everywhere. There should be this synergy. Honestly, there is need for more political will. We should not be blaming a sovereign country for our internal challenges. We have all what it takes to address it by bringing whoever is involved into it. Okay. Look at Niger. Okay. And an average Nigerian believes that Niger is more secure than our country.
Of course.
So are we saying in terms of resources, in terms of manpower, are Niger better than Nigeria?
Okay, now, considering all this fact now, what do you think is the way out?
The situation at hand demands that, like now, honestly, we have a very strong and sound CDS. I have said it in various platforms and in various fora. We never had a good CDS for a long time, like the current CDS. Honestly, he is trying. Okay. Yes. And I pray we shall have more commanders within the military like him. He is highly committed and very modest and sincere in his statements, in his interaction with the media. And I believe there is some development in the past 2 years between the day Tinubu took over to date. There are some significant improvement on the security front. You are in Sokoto. We are also facing some challenges associated with bandits. You can attest to that. The level of attack, the level of occupying a territory has reduced. So what we should do as leaders collectively, security is everybody's business. The media too have a role to play. Rather than NBC sanctioning stations, the station should have a platform like the Guild of Editors. They should be talking to each other how they can also minimize giving these criminals publicity. For a long period of time now, Turji have not released any video. And is to tell you he's on the run. So while I appreciate the government, there is also need to pay attention on intelligence gathering. The local criminals are using local intelligence. Ordinary phone call. Okay, this one is our informer. How much are they paying? Let the government also undercover recruit these informers.
Is it that we don't have undercover or they are not functioning?
It's inefficient, even if we have. The efficiency level is poor. Well, because if criminals are operating in Sokoto, before information get to the constituted authority that shall respond, it will be like 2 hours. Which means within 2 hours, everything has been committed and they have moved to the next available forest. And like I told you, we don't have too much helicopters going or moving around chasing these criminals. Once they enter bush and go under the forest, you hardly found them.
Sorry, if you say if they enter under the forest, you hardly find them, does that mean that we have some places that is left ungoverned?
Exactly. What is the square meter for, let's take Niger State example. Between a local government and another local government in Niger State, you can travel for 6 hours. So at 80% is bush. Even in the northwest here, between Zamfara and Sokoto, how many bushes we have? We have forest.
So do you think that
virgin land that is not even being cultivated, and that is where they operate